today's episode of Living Testimony,
something legendary.
we're going to walk you down through there with Patches the Dread.
So we'll put it like this. If I had a problem with Puff, and I may or may not, it didn't just start after everyone started having a problem with him. You don't know Paul's Puff.
So
I know him.
I don't know Diddy. The only reason I'm bringing up Diddy is because...
You can bring him up.
Yeah, the last 2 months, every day something new is coming up.
You know, a lot of things I've been saying and exposing years ago, no one said shit until just now. See, I've been told y'all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's the frustration is why y'all didn't say nothing about it. They see things that are immoral, they look past it until it's public opinion, and that was not a hidden thing, is what I'm telling you.
There was a culture that fostered that. So take you back to the present, because I needed to set the stage. I played football, right? But I played high school football. 9th grade year. We were coming back from Fort Worth, Texas, Myrtle Worth. We had played Trimble Tech, blew them out probably 36-0. And man, I hit a joker so hard, I knocked him onto the track. My partner that I'm gonna bring on here, OG Mank, touchdown, scored it. Kofa, Mark, he threw that. We did that, and that's how we ended the game. On the way back, you know, we talking loud, dancing, laughing, whatever on the bus that you do when you cutting up, you know what I mean? But when we get back to Kimball in Oak Cliff, when we walk through the doors of the gym in Kimball, because that's how you get to the locker room. There's a cage, then there's a shower over there, and the bathroom back there to the left. And other freshmen run around, some of them laugh, man, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me, man, chill out, no, don't do me like that. And then one of the dudes that went to elementary school and middle school with me, he kind of knew my background, man. He knew that, you know, I'm from that South Oak Cliff, moved to Central Oak Cliff, moved out Keys and Polk, and then moved to West Oak Cliff. But he knew that, you know, my family had a little bit of a name, you know. Not only am I the son of Larry the Mac James, but my dad was a martial arts and a boxer man. And so he trained us since we were kids. And I had some notable and reputable fights at the time. But everybody don't know that. And let me set the room clear, man. I said there was seniors in there. I'm a freshman. Kimball is one of those schools that used to, and I don't know about now, they used to get top tier talent. People would move to the district just to play for Kimball. You've seen Kimball featured in that movie, Carter, because those were our immediate rivals. We had dudes that were 6'6". We had a dude at the school 7 foot tall. We had 6 foot 5 dudes, 300 pounds. Muscle. And I ain't joking, man. We had some big dudes. We had some scary looking dudes. And when you coming in from being a freshman, you know, a little freshman as they call you, I mean, you was just in elementary, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, 6th grade. So, you know, you got that little boy body. So we're walking through the doors. The dudes is giggling and running, but not giggling because they playing, they're giggling out of fear. You know how when them eyebrows go up? No, man, quit playing. Chill out, man. It wasn't out of, you know, man, let's play. We just play a football game. And then, for those of you who don't know, Fort Worth about an hour from Dallas. So we done already played, we done had to travel there, we done had to travel back, it's late. Them big old dudes in there, man. So one dude that knew me from the neighborhood, as I was saying, he was like, hey, V, you got to get out of here, man. Man, you better help me run and get your stuff, man, and go to the car. He's like, man, they in here, boy. They taking boys' draws. They taking their draws, man. They ripping them. They just got such and such. And I don't remember who they got. Man, every hair on me probably stood up. And I probably gave him a look so cold. And I looked to make sure none of my close partners wasn't being ran down on. And then I just stood right in the middle. And I said, say, man, if anybody touch my drawers or touch me in any way or tap me with a towel, Man, my neighborhood gonna tear this thing up. And then my brother's gonna tear this thing up. And see, my brothers had a reputation. My brothers had a reputation. My brothers had a reputation. But everybody don't know them. And everybody don't care about them. You know, I had OGP on the show, and he told you, he said, man, Oak Cliff was about 300,000 people. It's one of the largest hoods in Dallas. And when I say hood, I'm not talking about neighborhoods. It got some rough spots and some rough folks, and we don't know each other. They don't know each other. It's just one of those places. When you collide, you collide. But anyway, I stood in the middle of that foyer, and I said what I said. And I meant that. And I knew repercussions could come. I knew that, man, I'm probably, 130, 140 at the time. Probably too light to fight, too thin to win, but I got some stories, right? I done some things. I got some martial arts under me. I got some boxing under me. So I wasn't trying to crash out, but I'm saying we are men, or are adolescents, right? Why are we pulling each other's pants down and trying to rip somebody's drawers? This wasn't a Ouija. This is they're trying to rip your drawers through your butt, you know, to make you bleed, embarrass you, humiliate you. So everybody wasn't feeling that. See, the fun thing about Kimball or being in West Oak Cliff, Central Oak Cliff is the people from West Oak Cliff went to Kimball. But guess what they was? They was moving on up. They was moving on up from West Dallas. But anytime you say West, people say, oh boy, the West. The West was like our South Bronx, if you travel a little bit. The West was like our South Central, if you travel a little bit. It was rough. And it had them little pockets where it's one way in, one way out. And I don't care if you're talking about Crosshampton, if you're talking about Rupert Circle, whatever it is, and I ain't going to go too much into the West, but it was some rough boys. And it was just made up of several groups of projects, Cross Westmoreland, Crosshampton. And then you had the houses. I mean, like them little shotgun houses. So it was some raw dudes out the West. But they used to kick up dust, bro. And the West wasn't like any other some of these parts. You know, there was not a lot of funding over there. It was just industrial buildings. You know, they didn't have a lot going on. And them boys will fight you for a penny. Them boys will fight you for a piece of carrot. You understand me? So some of them boys from the West, when you in the West, most of them boys got a boxing game. That's what Dewberry known for. He didn't box, but everybody in the West got a damn boxing game. But he had hands. So a lot of them boys came from the West with hands. Them boys from South Oak Cliff, like me. Them boys that came from Presidential. They came from Cavalry Arms. They came from Robin Village. You know, was moving on up. Right? To them, they was moving on up because, again, it was like different levels of success and different levels of poverty in certain neighborhoods. Don't mean the other ones was weak by any means. Kimball wasn't weak. The people that were in Central, they weren't weak, but we all collided. And then, you know, at this time, I'm in Keystone Pope. You know, y'all done probably heard of it. Mo 3 put it on the map. It was rough. You know what I mean? I talk about that story. It was a rough spot, man. And so they didn't necessarily care, know, or even think about my brothers or my neighborhood. They was in there to take some draws. They was in there to haze some boys. They was in there to pop folks with the towel and spank their ass or stick their thumb up it. That's what they was doing, man. Need to mention, some of them ninth grade boys was crying. Some of them ninth grade boys I didn't really know. You see what I'm saying? But they wasn't built like that. Please leave me alone, man. Embarrassed. They draws down. Boy pointing at their meat. You understand? Some of them couldn't stand their ground like me. Some of them didn't have the pedigree or the backing or the people that knew them. You understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes there's benefits to moving around a lot. And me and my family moved around a lot. So I knew people from different neighborhoods. I had partners that was 6'4", that knew me from other neighborhoods like that's Lil Vincent. I remember Lil Vincent. Or partners from Keystone Pope that were Bloods. And they were like, that's the homie. Because they remember we grew up together, bro. So they weren't going to let nobody do nothing to me. You hear me? I stood my ground by myself, right? But guess what? There was some people that knew me from different neighborhoods, because since I had lived on this side, that side, and that side, they were like, nah, that's Lil Vincent. No, just chill out, man. Leave him alone. You see what I'm saying? So I ain't saying I was the roughest or the toughest and they were, oh, they gonna shiver. It wasn't that. But they didn't mess with me that day. The moral of that story is gonna give me the two things. One, there are seeds that were sown that created an environment where that type of hazing was okay. Point two is I need y'all to understand that we have this phrase, right, that we call morality. Morality. I'm not going to give you a definition. You hear it all the time. It's thrown around a lot. So I'll give you the definition that I abide by, right, that stays with me, and that's this. Morality to me is an unspoken word or phrase where two beasts, monsters, animals, humans have an unwritten set of guidelines that says live and let live. I'm gonna give you a quick example of that. It is one of those unhidden things that says provide mutual respect. If you step on my shoe, say excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Don't pee on my lawn. You understand what I'm saying? Don't walk up and grab my girl's ass. Does it make sense? So what Diddy was dealing with is an environment where some seed has been sown and watered and the sun done its thing. And it finally bloomed. So if this girl that says she's been getting beat and all this treatment for 10 years, man, this been going on for a while. And the scripture do say what's done in the dark will come to the light. So all the things that we've been doing, it's going to eventually come out, right? Well, his came out. So that's all I'm going to say about Diddy.